Hello! In this episode we will continue with adding earth tones to the tracks. To start, we will be using some pigments from the gunpowder line, a stencil brush, sifted sand, and some light color paint. The texture and plaster will add some authentic looking texture to the earth color. There are no exact amounts needed when mixing mediums in this manner. The amounts added for this step depend upon the earth tone that you desire and the amount of texture, which will always vary from subject to subject. A mixer will also be needed to stir everything together. Okay, this doesn't look too bad. We can add more of the different ingredients if we are not happy with the effect after we start applying it. The stiff stencil brush will help to get the fairly viscous mix down into the tracks. We could have used a textured earth for this step, but the tracks would not have been workable once the product dried. On the inside of the tracks, I focus more around the edges, keeping the areas that are going to be polished from the road wheel smooth. As you can see, you do not need to completely cover the base tone of the tracks. After using the quick brush, you might encounter small white areas on some of the track links. This is the result of the chemical reaction that depends on the amount of lead in the alloy used during production. It is usually not a problem for me because of the weathering that I apply to the track afterwards. These white spots can be removed using a brush and water if they bother you. After adding a bit of water, I speckled on some more of the earth tone. Use a brush dampened with tap water to blend some of the areas of speckling if you're not happy with the result. While in the process, I decided to add some speckling to the outer sides of the track as well. After the mix had time to dry, I lightly rubbed the stiff stencil brush over the track to remove any unwanted excessively built up areas of texture. Another way that you can add texture is by applying controlled amounts of pigments and fixing them using Fixer. Simply touch the pigment with the soaked brush, and let the capillary action of the pigments absorb the fixer. Once dried, you can see the added gritty texture along with the various tones. Dry pigments were applied to the interior of the tracks, creating more dust effects. Again, fixer was used to attach the pigments. Using the brown mud spatter, we added more lighter drops over the darker tones. Let's now move on to add in some darker damp earth tones. We will continue using the brown mud spatter, this time as a base for the mix. The murky water will help to add more of a satin finish to the effect. Dark brown pigments will give a darker shade. I randomly applied the mix to the outer sides of the track. Now we use thinner to subtly blend the dark earth tones. You can use this effect to highlight different links to break up the runs of tracks. And as always, speckling can be used to subtly unify the effect. Please click like and subscribe to the channel to see more episodes. Please look for the interesting links in the description. See you next time.